Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 3 Geeks Flix. Joining me, as always, is the delightfully surprised and happy man himself, the Muse, Justin Kyle. Say hello, everyone, Justin.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, and of course, I am the Tech Mitchell Wright. We are back yet again, a two-parter today. We're just feeling randy. We're feeling right. We're just wanting to do more for you out there, the peoples, and I'm not going to get all Kodak moment-y again, so just get over it. This is a Warm Blankets. We haven't done one in just a little while, and we felt that, hey, it's time to do one again, and really, honestly, I got off my ass and finally made a list, so the Muse is always prepared. I'm the one that's holding everything back, but that's all right. We all have to have a purpose. So, as I usually do, I'm going to make the Muse explain to you what a warm blanket is, but before I do, Justin, give it to me. What you got? Because I'm going to make you roll right into what your first one is after you explain it.
That's great. Okay. A Warm Blanket is a movie that you grew up watching that is always going to have a warm place, pun intended, in your heart. So it's kind of like you going back and you're spending one night at your mom's house or the house you grew up in, sleeping in your old bed, essentially. It may not be the best bed, the nicest bed, but because it was the one you grew up in, it's always going to feel perfect.
Okay. You're going back to an old one that you used, but it's a surefire one. It's a great explanation, so I'll give you that.
Oldie but a goodie.
Oldie but a goodie. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're up, sir.
Okay. My first one, my first of 5 on my list, is the classic 1993 film called Last Action Hero.
Ah. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, the great Schwarzenegger in his prime. This was the movie he decided to do right after T2, which was groundbreaking. That's a 10 for sure. Mm-hmm. This isn't groundbreaking or anything. It's just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, I'm pretty sure this was more than PG-13. I'm pretty sure this was rated R just because of the violence and the
thinking so.
Other things, the language, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, I watched the crap out of it. I think it's probably like 7 or 8 when I saw this. Me and my brother, we loved this movie. So it also had Austin O'Brien. Ian McKellen played Death.
Ian.
Most people don't remember that. Remember he was a Reaper.
Yes, sir. Made cameo.
This was a Bridget. I think Madison is her name. She played Sonya in Mortal Kombat. She was his daughter. Remember her?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great film, man. This movie holds up because a lot of it is practical.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't hold up terribly good, but it's still. This is definitely a warm blanket, and it could be considered a clutch too.
Oh yeah, it's an Arnie classic, baby. Arnie classic, absolutely.
Last Action Hero.
Yes, sir. What's your number for it?
I'll give it a 7.5. I don't know if it quite deserves an 8 in my opinion.
Okay.
When I watched it when I was younger, for sure, this was like a 9 to 9.5.
Yeah.
But as you grow older, you become more analytical. I think a 7.5 is a solid rating.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go with you on that. 7.5. Good movie, good movie. My first one, moving along, it is a 2000 film by Mr. Don Bluth, and it had a couple of other people tied to director, but he was the one that came up as the main one. It's got Matt Damon, Bill Pullman, Drew Barrymore, Ron Perlman, and John Leguizamo in Titan AE.
That's a great film, bro.
I feel like American anime is severely underrated.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
liked this film. It is fond memories.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed the animated films, especially some of the animated stuff that's come from DC and whatnot that's a little edgier, like a lot of the Batmans. And so it was awesome to see that we really hadn't seen an American anime film since Heavy Metal at that time that did really any justice to be on an adult level, or to so to speak. And
right.
so, you know, and it was a sci-fi, so
right.
it got me right there. The aliens were so cool, how they animated them, which was great. Great actors. You know, these people now, those names I just threw out to you, they're A-listers, baby. Not a B-lister
right. Yes.
on that right there. And some great
right.
actors. So I really think that this could have opened the doors if it probably would have been marketed right and maybe done at a little different time. I don't think 2000 was quite a strong enough time to come out with something like this to be received so well. But other than that, man, I can watch this sucker all the time. Takes me back.
Right.
Warm all the way around. I can't tell you how many times I watched this in college and high school. So it just brings back those great feelings again. And, you know, if you haven't checked it out, check it out, folks. Titan AE. I really think that this is a great time right now, that if somebody wanted to make a film similar to this, in this artistic style, that it would have a better reception, since the whole geek thing is apparently trendy with a lot of people right now. So, and right. for a number on it, is an 8. It's an 8. It would have been higher for me back then, but now, looking back at it, it's an 8 to maybe 8.5.
I think an 8.5 is good. Just because, and first and foremost, that is a fantastic pick.
Thank you.
First and foremost, very respectable, as always, your choices are, Tech.
Oh, thank you.
I remember we were talking about this last night, movies that could be kids' movies, but also could be adults. This is a great example as one, right? Now you kind of see this could be in a genre by itself, not only sci-fi, but for the audiences and the age difference. It's a fantastic choice. What I really liked about it is this was right after, I think it was like the second role after Good Will Hunting, in which Damon won the Oscar for Best Screenplay, Original Screenplay. And he chose to do this. How awesome is that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, guy, young, hungry actor, just won the Oscar, and he chooses to do an original sci-fi animated epic.
Yeah. And man, it could have been so much more. It really could have been. And I just feel like that it's very underrated.
You mean like future franchises more?
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah.
Okay.
If they were thinking right about it, they could have franchised it. But
right.
It is what it is.
I agree.
Moving
Great
on.
choice. My second choice is the second pick for this list is the classic, also 1993 film. This won the Oscar for Best Overall Picture, Director, and Best Lead Actor.
Oh,
it is a classic film called Surf Ninjas.
Oh, God. It did not win that.
Okay. This didn't win any Oscars.
No.
But it should have. No, I'm just kidding.
God.
This is a classic film, man. This is another one that me and my brother grew up watching. Completely over the top in every single aspect of the word. This defines over the top.
Yeah.
This was right around that time of like the what's that Van Damme Street Fighter.
Okay.
This falls in the vein of like the Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat. This is more Street Fighter than Mortal Kombat. But man, two brothers that were from Patusan. Remember Patusan?
Patusan.
They happen to be surfers, and then turns out they were both princes of a lost ancient empire. And yeah, man, ninja stuff, surf stuff, a lot of food, Patusan, swords, cool swords. What else do you need? That's all you really need, right?
Right. There you go, eh?
So I think the first time me and my brother saw this, we were probably like 8 or 9, and we saw this. I remember it vividly. We were going through Blockbuster. For people who don't remember Blockbuster, kids of these generations, these were stores that you could go and pick out movies in a store.
Yeah, throwback.
It wasn't online, it wasn't television. And these were VHSs, not DVDs, but these are like hard copy cases that have actual film in them.
Yes.
You put them into your television set, and they would play images that moved.
Yes.
We saw this in the cover, two brothers surfing with ninja swords, and we were like, that's our choice, Mom. Please, can we get it? She was a great mom, and she got it for us.
Oh,
this
Mom.
Groundbreaking film. I'm giving it a 10 across the board. No, for real. It's probably like a 7. I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
This movie is not going to hold up at all. It's extremely dated, but it's still a classic.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's a classic. It's a throwback to the time. It's definitely 90s. It bleeds 90s. So.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, to go completely in a different direction, which I sometimes generally do, my second film is a 1994 film. Philip Noyce was the director. It stars James Earl Jones, William Dafoe, Annie Archer, and Harrison Ford in Clear and Present Danger. Now, this is the Jack Ryan set of films that was taken from the, I do believe Tom Clancy was the novelist.
Yeah.
And these are warm blankets to me, folks, not only for the story and how smart they were, and really Clancy nails this genre. This is him. This is his wheelhouse. Any movie, if they stay somewhat close to the book, is going to be a great film to sit and watch. But this is time with Dad. All right, my dad loved these books, and I loved sitting down and watching the film renditions with him, and he would tell me actually how something happened in the book compared to the movie and stuff like that. And so, you know, this is a warm blanket of that bonding time of sitting back and watching. And not only are they great films, but this is probably, other than, you know, one of the Baldwin, of course, Alec Baldwin started the whole Jack Ryan thing in Red October.
Right.
And then Harrison Ford took over in Patriot Games and then Clear and Present Danger. Quite frankly, I love all three of the films, but I really like the older Jack Ryan. I like the Harrison Jack Ryan better. And I can't say enough good things about this film. You need to check it out. It's a smart film. It's great action sequences. Fantastic acting, spot on A-list actors. Really can't go wrong. These are 94, so these people were in their prime or long after their prime and still going. So, and this movie is a 9 to me. Clear and Present Danger was one of the best in the series, and it just, as far as for that genre of political, military dramas, this is like your template. Good luck, so to speak. So,
right. And I'm really glad that you brought up the fact that you used to watch this with your dad. That's also an important, we don't talk about that enough, but that's an important aspect of what a warm blanket is.
Yes.
It's your memories associated with it and who you watch it with.
Oh yeah, and all of these have
not just the movies themselves, but that time in your life as well. So,
yes, sir.
Great point.
Yes, sir.
Great movie.
Thank you.
Too.
Thank you. And to you.
Okay, my third film is the classic film, 1963, The Sword and Stone.
Back in the day.
It's American classic, man.
Yes.
Forgetting warm blankets. I mean, who's I don't want to say for the current generation, the young people, because I would think most people that are kids these days have never heard of this, and that's a shame. It's just a sad fact of life. But for from that time period onwards, who is not have this on their list as some sort of warm blanket? Who hasn't seen this movie at some point in time? The classic story, King Arthur and the Sword,
yes.
Merlin, just a magical adventure.
Yes.
This is about as magical kids animated adventure as you can get.
Oh yeah.
Excellent fantasy movie. I mean, there's not a lot you got to say about it.
No.
Really.
No. What's your number for it though?
I don't think it was necessarily groundbreaking. I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking. Let's be honest. There's nothing groundbreaking about it. But as far as the quality at the time in comparison, it's a. I know you don't like the word solid, but this was more than a solid film, I feel like. So I'll give it an 8.5.
Right on. I can agree with an 8.5 for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great film, sir. That's a great film.
Well, even though it's very timely, it's of that time, music, animation, the story, the technology of that time, but I still feel like if you were to put this on for like a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old today, I think that they would be entertained the entire time.
Oh, yeah. I think it would hold up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. All right. My third film. You will get nostalgic, much like that, but maybe not in the same sense. It is a 1980 film. It is directed by a Mr. Mike Hodges that we have not heard of or from. It stars Sam Jones, which many of you will not know. Melody Anderson, which many of you won't know. But you will know Mr. Max von Sydow. He was in The Force Awakens, the older gentleman that died in the beginning. And a Mr. Timothy Dalton, who some of you will know as one of the Bonds, was in this as well. It is the epic, the legendary, the never to be repeated ever in its lifetime. Please don't. Flash Gordon. Now, this movie was cheesy as hell.
Yep.
And so that is why I say please do not repeat it. Flash was a football player. Your typical 80s blonde, tan jock. That he and his best girl get pulled into this alternate world, and Max von Sydow is Emperor Ming and the tyrannical rule, and he is pretty much trying to take over, and here comes old Flash, this jock from America, Earth, and takes him on. Now, it's ridiculous. The whole story, the premise is ridiculous, but the score was from Queen. And that alone just makes it epic. And my brother and I watched this. This is why. It's the 80s. I was born in 80, okay? And so watching this, thinking back in time, and then just the effects and everything else, it's whatever. But this was kind of like your first kind of, I don't know, rock and modern songs and stuff being pulled into movies. And, man, it's Kiss, baby. You know, Freddie Mercury, the legend. And everyone in the band, and just that score itself and the synthesizer, and it's just, you sit there and you watch it and like, this is so cheesy and awful, but I can't get up. I've got to watch it more. And so, that being said, I mean, the movie's, just because of nostalgia feel, I'll give it a 6.5, because it does not hold up. It is goofy as hell. But it has some warm blanket feels, because I can think of the times back sitting there watching it as a kid with my brother on TV, and just I can't get but those warm cockles in my heart and everything. So, yeah, Flash Gordon, check it out. It's a great movie to watch if you drink.
Yeah. Now this is the movie that they kept talking about on and on in Ted, right, with Wahlberg and McFarlane. This is the movie that is that correct?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's a shame that's how most people will know about this.
Yep.
Most people of our generation probably haven't seen it, but they're going to know what you're talking about from that movie. You're right. It is it's not timely at all. No. It's not going to hold up.
No.
But it did have Queen do the soundtrack.
Yes, it's the best part.
So there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an interesting choice. Okay, moving on. My fourth film.
Okay.
Classic film.
Okay.
1981. It's a little film called The Fox and the Hound.
Oh. Respect.
Respect, right? Respect, bro. So, the great Kurt Russell actually did a voice star. Yeah. He played, I think he played the grown-up hound. And I just found that out within the past 3 or 4 years, which was interesting. But, I think he's the only memorable cast that still remains from this movie. But what a fantastic growing-of-age animated film.
Absolutely.
This film, just like a lot of the Disney classic at that time, Bambi, Snow White, these are all going to be timeless. The Jungle Book.
Oh, yeah.
This is really before, I think this was before, the Beauty and the Beast era. Beauty and the Beast took them into the next level. That was what started, the Aladdins and the Lion Kings. This was kind of before that.
Yes.
All of them are going to be timeless, but this has got to be probably in my top 10 easily Disney films of all time.
Yeah.
Just as far as the themes goes. The epicness of the last battle with the bear. You got to think, man. See, I always went back and forth between who I thought was the better one. Was it the fox? Was it Todd? Or was it the hound? What was the fox's name? Do you remember the fox's name?
No.
No. It's not that important. But still, great film. Great film. They had that owl. I mean, all the animals talked, as is the MO for Disney at the time. But still, man, it's a classic. I believe this is one of my brother's favorite Disney films of all time. I could be mistaken, but he was head over heels with this film.
No.
Well, for the time, and considering how it holds up, it's tough, man. What would you rate this film objectively?
I'm not the one that picked it. That's your job.
Okay. Well,
no,
I guess I'll give it...
objectively, 8, 8.5, maybe. It's an 8 for me.
Well, I do remember, if you go back and you watch it, the ending fight scene with the bear, I always remember the bear had red glowing eyes, and that scared the crap out of me, right? And that fight scene, the last fight scene, was epic because the only way they could win was together. So the themes, I mean, there's a lot of intelligent themes behind the storytelling. I mean, different side of the tracks, there was a lot of forbidden friendship going.
Oh, my.
Forbidden friendship.
Just thematically, I'll give it an 8.5.
Okay. Yeah, I can go with it on that. I mean, it's Disney. It's nostalgia. I know how much you love Disney animated, so 8.5. Yep. Yeah. I mean, and definitely because you get very long-winded when you bring up a Disney animated movie. But anyways, moving along. My fourth film is a 1995 film. This is reliving my teen years. And I tell you what, this is part of a series. And this has to be my favorite of the series. And it's not the first of the series, but it's my favorite. It's a John McTiernan film. Has Mr. Jeremy Irons in it, Mr. Samuel L. Jackson, and Mr. Bruce Willis in Die Hard with a Vengeance. It is my favorite. And a lot of it has to do with, it's John McClane as John McClane, as always. Every single movie, how you get him, whether it's one of these more recent films or one of the older films. But I love the back and forth and the relationship that he has with Samuel L. Jackson's character throughout the whole movie. And one of the things that I loved is they finally tied the events of the first movie into the events of another movie, with Jeremy Irons' character being the brother of Mr. Hans Gruber, who was our villain in the first one, Mr. Alan Rickman played. The late, great Alan Rickman, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Great film, folks. Smart. I love the different riddles for the different bombs and things that they had set up, making them go around town. It was a smart story. It was a good story. It still was your 90s action, but it was a little more grounded, other than the fact of all the crazy things that John McClane lives through. But man, some of those scenes, like the scene going down the sewage and the water behind him, how awesome was that? And especially the effects for the time. And they were at Yankee Stadium in one scene, and the whole bank vault scene and everything, and how he finds out, and just a great movie, folks. Great movie. Check it out. It is a 9.5 movie. I have to say, I don't give a lot of my warm blankets a lot of high numbers because they're not always necessarily the most groundbreaking. And it's not groundbreaking, but it is a great film. It is just a great film.
Right, it's interesting because I would consider the first Die Hard groundbreaking for what it did.
Yes, yes, it was.
The fact that, and look how many movies copied that template moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
So, with the villain, I mean, I would rate the first Die Hard a 10 just because of what it did.
Yes.
And I agree with you, this one's not a 10, but I also agree with you that I like this one better. This one is also my favorite.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think was a better villain Rickman or Irons? Or should I go F myself Twilight?
You should.
Okay.
You should.
I was hoping you'd say that.
All the way home, and you're home, so all the way to your room, into your closet, into a corner, huddling and crying because you know how despicable you are for saying such a thing.
Unbelievable.
Right.
A new low.
Just sit on it and spin twice. Okay.
Yes.
My final film
Okay.
is the classic, absolute classic,
Okay.
1993 film, very heartwarming. It's a film called Rudy.
Oh, Rudy. Yes.
You know, this is probably and almost universally praised as one of the greatest sports films of all time.
Yes.
The great Sean Astin at the time. This is a signature role. I mean, can you think it? Perhaps Sam in Lord of the Rings, but I mean,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for this, I guarantee you.
Oh,
When you think of him, do you think Sam first, or do you think of Rudy? Or the Goonies? I forgot the Goonies as well. That's tough, man.
I honestly think of the Goonies, but that's okay.
Okay.
That shows my age.
Well, I think of this one just because he was by far the lead, and this is his movie singular,
yeah.
as opposed to
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lord of the Rings or the Goonies. But I mean, how heartwarming is this movie through and through? I mean, if you could put the heart of Spider-Man as a comic, always getting thrown down by the world and getting up and coming back,
Yeah.
he wasn't fighting crime. He just wanted to play football for Notre Dame.
Yes, sir.
And, towards the end, when they all laid their jerseys on and they say, I think Rudy should play, I mean, that's grown men tears all day long.
Grown
right?
man tears.
You could grow cross with those tears.
Right there. Get you right there.
I mean, for real, though, it's not game-changing.
No.
There's nothing groundbreaking about this.
No.
But this is in probably my top 5 to 3 favorite sports films of all time.
Well, I can really say that it did kind of help break ground for sports films, really, to be more than just some action, fantasy, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, it really tugged the heart. I mean, all the Rockies aside and everything, this was truly kind of I think one of your first good, actual, serious looks at football that didn't have, like, necessary roughness or anything else involved in it.
Right. And I like it because even though it's definitely a sports film, it also can transcend that genre, too. I mean,
Yes.
This is a huge coming-of-age story.
Yes.
This is a huge, never stop fighting story.
Yes.
Definitely a warm, glowing, warm feeling story. I kind of see what you're saying with the sports film.
Yeah.
If you're going to compare it to Rocky, I think the first Rocky is a good comparison.
Yeah.
Not like Rocky 4 or anything with the Russian. That's just way too over the top. But it's still awesome, though.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
1993, Rudy, man. I'll give it, with what they were going for as far as the emotion goes, I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
I think what do you think? Do you think that's appropriate, or?
It could be a 9 or a 9.5. Just depends where it lies in your heart.
Okay.
It's
I'll give it a 9.
interchangeable. No.
I'll give it a 9.
I will appreciate that. I will appreciate that. All right. Moving right along to my last film, folks. It is a film of films by Mr. Ron Howard. It was written by Mr. George Lucas. It stars Mr. Warwick Davis, Mr. Val Kilmer, and Joanne Whalley in Willow. And I don't have to say anything else.
Yeah.
Great,
I guess.
great fantasy epic. Lucas, known of course for Star Wars, was one of the writers on this. He co-wrote it with another gentleman, but Howard helming it, directing it. It's a great film. It's awesome shots. Kilmer in his prime. Warwick Davis, young, strong, and going after Star Wars. Little claim to fame. Solid story. Strong female villain. So there were a lot of things that this did that, other things had done, but usually animated. Say like Disney. Disney had a lot of strong female villains, but you hadn't seen a lot of strong female villains in live-action movies at this time.
Right.
And so it had the funny. It had the tear-jerking moments, the heart-wrenching moments. And really just a great, solid story all around. And I think a lot of fantasy films from there on out have taken notes and learned from this movie. And this learned from movies as well in its past, like Legend and other things. And it's a warm spot in my heart because I enjoyed this movie with the Sage. We could sit down and watch this any time of day. And I can still tell you to this day, this is one of the Sage's favorite movies of all time. And for that, for me, it is easily a 9. Easily a 9. I'm not going to get too carried away. A lot of the cast didn't really go on to have too much of a career afterwards, except for Kilmer and Davis. But it's solid. Solid 9, baby. All the way around.
I agree, yeah. The great Warwick Davis.
Yes, yes.
He's iconic. He really is for his work.
Oh, yeah. Man, and if people actually sit there and look at his filmography, they'll be like, holy crap, he was in that, or he did that, or he was doing that. I was like, yeah, man's been tied to a few things.
Yeah.
Harry Potter movies, all the Star Wars movies.
The Leprechaun, he was the Leprechaun.
He was. Do we have to bring that up?
No.
Okay.
Respect. But I wasn't aware that Ron Howard directed this film, I gotta say. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm riding the Ron Howard train ever since I did that Han Solo episode. Sorry, he keeps showing up in everything I look up.
Yeah. That's Ron Howard is also a legend. He's a legend in the industry for sure. Good choice, sir.
All right. Well, check us out on Facebook, 3 Geeks Flix. Give us a like, comment, holler, troll us. You don't do Facebook? Hey, we got Twitter. It's at the number 3 Geeks Flix. Flix, of course, spelled F-L-I-X. Give us a follow there. Give us a holler there. Hey, troll there. Get involved. You are the Third Geek. Get on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. We appreciate all 610 of you subscribers and growing. You Third Geeks out there are the reason that we keep going and doing this and love doing this day in and day out. So get involved. Holler at us. We're going to have a lot more shows coming up that involve you all, or we want to involve you all, so leave comments, leave likes, say whatever you want to say. Quite honestly, most of the time we'll either laugh it off, we'll ask for your address, and the Muse does make house calls.
Great Scott!
Just remember that. And all you have to do is sit there and smile.
Yeah.
Just look pretty. Just look pretty. For the one time, I'm not asking for feedback. I'm just needing you to look pretty. But anyways, appreciate y'all sticking around and stay tuned to the glow of those monitors because we're going to catch you next time. Good night. Feel good about that. You're the cute one. And I'm the one from the Just for Men commercials.
You're gonna like the way you look.
But that's like Men's Warehouse or Burlington Coat Factory or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Men's Warehouse.
Okay, Burlington Coat Factory, sorry.
But man, that guy, remember the guy that does those commercials?
Yeah.
He's got gray going on, but it looks classy. When you see that guy, you're not thinking old, you're thinking this guy's wise.
Really?
This guy's been through some
And I've got the thing, to where I can make it happen. I can make it happen.
Make it happen, Captain.
We're gonna make it happen. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We will do it. All night long, all night. Make sure everything's out good here. Got that right. Yeah, it looks good. It's on par. Things are on par. It just makes you feel real good. You like to feel real good, don't you? Hi, I'm Will Arnett. I'd totally double knock out those two.
Well, you can use it because you didn't use one last episode.
Well, that's
so
my double knockout.
No, you can't do that. That's not fair.
No, yes it is. I've got one in the bank. Don't tell me how to live my life.
You're not my father. I noticed you chose to use that as a blooper in like 2 shows ago. I don't know what the context was of that conversation. I just said it, and for some reason you laughed, and you put that in the show. You're not my father. Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep the intros just really kind of short and succinct. I'm trying not to do any more like 30-minute cinematic intros.
No. It is cinemagic, because that's what it is.